Okay. Hi, guys. Time to good night, moon. We have taken a plane from Los Angeles all the way to New York, and we are going to read Goodnight Moon to you. Sorry that the baby, microphone. Sorry that the baby is already asleep. We're tired. But as Rivervox, aka Mary on Twitter, pointed out, it means we get to really, for the first time since I have been reading Goodnight Moon live on Periscope, which has been a full 3 days, we get to actually discuss the mouse subplot. So tonight we're really going to take our time with this Goodnight Moon reading. Okay, you ready? Goodnight Moon. Board book version, obviously, it's already been very chewed by the baby, so the board book was a good call. Before we start, I'm reading the comments. Does anyone have any thoughts, questions about Goodnight Moon before we begin? No? Yes? No? You're not wearing a shirt because of the haters, are you? No, I'll take my shirt off. It's not much of a shirt to begin with. It's like a thin piece of cloth. My boob is obscured by the baby. Anyway, thank you for doing this. You're welcome. Sometimes, do I think it will help bring world peace? Without sounding corny, you guys? Yeah. I think world peace is a moving target. And I think if I can read Goodnight Moon on Periscope and a couple hundred people can watch and have a better day or a better night, that's this much more world peace than we had before. And world peace is relative, right? World peace is not something that we're going to get by doing one thing, or we're going to get tomorrow, or we're going to get by getting the right person into office or reversing the Brexit or anything. World peace is going to come one story at a time. By the way, since so many of the comments the last time I read Goodnight Moon, not like that many of them, but like a couple of them were like not the sort of thing I ever see on Twitter ever, like people actually thinking that I'm a sexy person. I'm just here to tell you I'm not a sexy person. I'm not going to show you my tits, and it's just me and a baby. Peace and love. All right, here we go. Good night, Moon. Oh, one question before we start, just so I can see, and I love this part. Where are you guys tuning in from? Tell me where you are. Delaware, Philly, 2 Phillies, Brazil. You're so pretty too. You're all very pretty. Iowa, Massachusetts, Boston, Pensacola, Florida, Phoenix, New York, Toronto, Philly, Indiana, Gutenberg, Minnesota. Lots of trolls on Periscope. You know, I don't think those people are trolls. I just think they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Mexico, Los Angeles, Nashville, Mexico. Awesome. I love you guys. Florida, Gulf Coast, Canada. I just came from you, Canada. Richmond, India. Ohio, Puerto Rico. Awesome. Indianapolis, Uruguay, India, Tulsi Town. Awesome. Well, all of you guys, this one's for you. I love you too. I love all of you, every single one of you. And I will be your universal mom tonight. And if you feel like a bedtime story, I'm your lady. Here we go. Good night, Moon. You guys are lovely too. Me and this baby are going to do our little bit for world peace tonight by reading you Good Night Moon. Here we go. Good night, Moon. Let's see. We have a little hand situation here, so I'm just going to move this hand over here. Ready? Here we go. Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Pictures by Clement Hurd. This particular copy of Goodnight Moon has been dedicated to Ash, this little baby, by his auntie Meow Meow. How old is he? He's 9 months. He's 9 months. Okay. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of... Okay, wait, so mouse subplot. Do you guys see the mouse here? Mouse? Do you see the mouse? See the mouse? There's the mouse. There's the mouse. Focus, the mouse is next to the fire thing. See the little mouse? Okay, so subplot. The mouse is starting next to the place that holds the firewood. Let's just follow the subplot. Next page. Usually I have Ash turn the pages, but he's asleep. Next page. Shit, sorry. There was a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears. Just got a phone call, but I will call them back. 3 little bears sitting on chairs. And 2 little kittens. And a pair of mittens. And a little toy house. And a young mouse. And a comb and a brush. And a bowl full of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night. Okay. Good night, Moon. Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. There's the mouse. Good night, Moon. Good night, cow, jumping over the moon. Do you notice that they rhyme moon with moon, and it's awesome? And you can do that, kids. If you're aspiring poet or songwriter, you can rhyme fucking moon with moon, and it's totally fine. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens. And good night, mittens. Good night, clocks. And good night, socks. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. This little bunny getting sleepy. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. There's the bunny. The bunny's getting ready to go to sleep. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises. Everywhere. Good night, Twitter. Good night, Periscope. Good night, Facebook. Good night, America. Good night, Brexit. Good night, Trump. Good night, Hillary. Good night, Bernie. Good night, Robert. Good night. Good night, everybody. I love you. This baby loves you too. Good night, Canada. Good night. 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 Good night.